Hi, everyone. I'm just going to give you the market update for Calgary for April. Now, this is going to be done using March statistics. Um, and welcome to spring. Massive dump of snow today in Calgary, which is super heavy as I was trying to shovel my driveway. And I cannot believe the weight of the snow. So hopefully you're having better luck than me, but that's my experience out there today. Okay, so I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to focus more on detached homes for this update. And quickly, I just wanted to share if you haven't um, join me on Instagram. I just want to give you my Instagram tag. It's here, Colin Morgan underscore real estate. You can find me there. I started doing a little bits of work with some AI stuff and my pets. I hope you find it amusing if you are joining me there. It's just to keep things light and have some fun and be hopefully a little bit different than everybody else. Okay, so just to get into it, like I said, I'm going to focus a little bit more on detached homes today. The current inventory in the city of Calgary for all homes that are listed is just under 5,400, and overall we have a 2.87 months of supply. So a little bit lower than normal, and the majority of that is because detached homes has lower supply than typical. Now, when I go down here, what you're going to see is when we compare, um, when we talk about March of this year, there's only 2.22 months of supply for detached homes. That number is lower than every other segment in the city. And you can see that apartments are actually just over 4.5 months of supply. And that's why the cost of apartment style condos keeps coming down. Detached homes are kind of in a different, uh, are going through a different phase. They're actually, the prices are starting to come up. They're not jumping, it's somewhat gradual, but because we have such a low supply of detached homes, prices are starting to increase. And when you do compare that to the same time last year, we actually have a little bit more supply, but we were in very much a seller's market at that time last year. So I'm just going to read this because this is a good summary of what's going on in the detached home market. So the detached market is exhibiting the tightest conditions compared to all other property types, with 982 sales and 1,600 new listings in March. The sales to new listing ratio rose to 61%, while inventory levels remain similar to those reported last year. Now, if you recall, anything in this ratio above 60% is generally considered a seller's market. So we're right at the bottom end of the seller's market and at the top of a balanced market. So that's kind of where detached homes is sitting. And that's why you're seeing prices starting to go up again, um, which, again, if you are looking to buy, if they're going to continue to go up, now is a good time. Of course, the problem is going to be is there's not a great amount of inventory, so you're going to have a little bit less selection out there. But if you can find a stellar home that you love and you can get in early, I would go now, because prices I think are going to increase as we get closer to spring and as the market becomes a little hotter than what it is right now. Just to continue along, with just over 2 months of supply, conditions in March closely resembled those seen last year at this time. However, conditions varied across the city, with less than 2 months of supply reported in the Northwest, West, South, and Southeast and East districts. So, meanwhile, conditions were relatively balanced in both the city center and North districts, while the Northeast district continues to struggle with higher supply relative to demand. The detached benchmark price was 741,000 in March, down by 3% over last year's peak price of 766. However, tight conditions in most parts of the city are driving some price gains. After the first quarter, the largest quarterly gain was reported in the West District, followed by City Center and South District. So that's really a good summary of what's going on in the detached home market. Obviously, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm just going to show you a couple other charts to kind of bring home this message. So Here, what you see is obviously a line graph with a bar graph underneath it. You're going to see that this red line represents the benchmark price change. So you can see it's starting to go back up as it was coming down quite a bit over the last, basically since, let's see here. We're talking about the beginning of January 2024, but now we're starting to see it come back up. So, and then this blue line here represents the months of supply, which is obviously lower. So obviously lower supply, more demand, prices are going to start to increase. So that's where we're at. Again, that's for detached homes. Every segment has its own nuances. So this is not the same situation for apartment style condos or even really row townhouses. So if you want more information on that, please reach out. It's a different kind of market for those segments. So I just want to do a bit of a comparison here. So again, this is Detached Homes comparing March of 25 to March of 26. You'll see that it's a fairly close number for months of supply. When you look at year to date, we're also a little bit higher. But if you remember back then, it was much more of a seller's market. We're not there. We're basically at the very bottom end of the seller's market or the top end of a balanced market. So again, a good time to buy if you can find that house that you really love. Um, Conversely, apartments, last year, this time, you had just over 3 months of supply. Now it's up to 4.62 months. So that's drastically different. And this is just, sorry, that was for March. So, and for year to date, it's almost the same with just a little bit higher. So the year to date overall average is 4.77 months supply for apartment style condos. So, lots of inventory, especially in the Northeast, where if you remember last time we did a market update, there was 11 months of supply in this area. So that number is definitely increasing the overall average. It's not the same in like the Southwest and Southeast, but still elevated months of supply compared to last year. That actually sums it up. I don't want to drag it out too much and take up too much of your time. Obviously, if you have questions, I'm always available. Phone number is 403-354-3318, and you can email me at cmorgan@charlesrealestate.ca. I hope to speak to some of you soon. Even if you're, 6 to 12 months out and you're just sort of kicking tires thinking about it, it's always good to have a conversation. It's good to plan well ahead for buying and selling of homes. Just to start to learn the market, I can set you up on some systems so that you literally become a market expert in the area. You'll see a house at the market, you'll kind of know what the price is going to be, you'll see what it's selling for, and you're just going to be well versed and have a lot of information and knowledge about what the market's doing, similar to what you may be selling or buying. That's really important when it comes to make a decision, because then you can rest assured that when you make that offer, you know that the price is right. It's a fair market value price. You're not losing money. And again, over time, property typically in most segments appreciates, especially in detached homes. And then you just ride the wave and watch your home grow in time with price and value. So, anyways, thanks again. I hope spring is good to you, and I will talk to you this time in May. Take care.